Hey guys, so after my last Galaxy Defenders video, I got into the space mode. So I usually go and I flip-flop between fantasy and space, fantasy and space. So clearly right now I'm in the space mode. So after doing such a tactical game, tactical board game, I wanted to take a step back, do something a little bit more strategic maybe. I got in the mood to play a card game. So what I decided was to pull a game by the name of Race for the Galaxy off the shelves. So Race for the Galaxy is a game by Rio Grande Games. It is a 2 to 4 player. Plays pretty quickly, like 30 to 60 minutes, but one of my favorite things about this game is that it comes, well, the first expansion, called The Gathering Storm, comes with a Solitaire Mode. So the Solitaire Mode is basically playing against a computer AI opponent. Now, the computer AI is controlled by little bits of logic, so it's pretty interesting to see how the robot plays out. So what I'll do is I will get everything set up on the table. We'll go over some brief rules as normal. You'll watch the playthrough, and then we'll go from there, see if I can take out the robot. But I guess with that, we'll roll the intro. Alright, we are ready to go. So, what you see here is our robot. And this is essentially the robot's intelligence and logic. And in order to set the robot up for this game, we are going to have to first choose a starting planet. So, at random, I've already taken all the starting planets, starting worlds out of the main deck, the game deck. And I'm going to, at random, select a planet for the robot and then select one for myself. So we'll go with the first one. So the robot's homeworld is a damaged alien factory. So thematically that makes a lot of sense. This is where our robot became self-aware. So what's important about this starting world really is the number in the two corners in red here. So the number 7. So the robot is going to be number 7. So what we have to do is we have to look through all these little add-on pieces to see if the logic shows a 7. So first one, that red 7 is essentially for this robot. So this will go here, and it will take, the robot will take that specific action whenever it rolls the robot symbol on its turn. So then I know that these other 2 logic chips I'm not going to need for this game. So they'll go back in the box. I will look at these next 2 and see if there's a 7, and there is. So this one's got the 7. So I'll put this one aside, and this number 7, you basically have to just lay over the respective area, and that's what the robot will do in that phase. We've got 2 more logic tiles that we have to look at. So this is a 2, that's a 1, a 5, a 3, and a 5. So none of these. So he's going to use the standard one. When we go for starting cash and starting economy level, if any of these have the 7, then that's where you would start him, but if not, then he defaults to 1. And for the economy size, again, only 1 and 4 start at economy size of 1, 7, and everybody else is going to start at an economy size of 0. These 2 chits are for my actions that I will put on the board when I go, and these 3 are development tokens that the robot can claim during his turns, and will grant him 6 points. So I don't necessarily want him to get these, but he always gets them anyway, so there's nothing I can do about it. They also determine the difficulty of the game. So an easy game, we would only allow him to get 1 of these. A normal game, we'd allow him to get 2. Harder would be 3, and also you can do you can flip them over and they'll be worth 9 points instead of 6, but that's just ludicrous. I'm not going there. So he is only going to get 2. So this is the normal difficulty, and I still have a hard time with this even at that. So With the robot's world chosen, I will choose my home world at random, shuffle these up, and then we will get this game rolling. So I get to start at the Separatist colony. And I'll talk through maybe some of these symbols as we go along. But that's going to be my starting world. I'm going to get the deck shuffled. So the rest of these go back in the deck, in the main deck. I'm going to shuffle them in now. And we'll get ready to take the first turn. Okay, so I've cleaned things up a bit. Made one little adjustment. This marker here, I didn't realize, was also a 7, so I had to place that as well. So there are 2 AI markers. So this world is a little interesting, and we'll show you how that plays out when we get to that phase. But what I've got laid out here is basically the robot. He's ready to go. I've got his start world. I've got my start world. I've got 24 victory point counters laid out, and the robot's 2 development item tokens for him to acquire. Robot dice are ready. The board is set. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to deal out 4 cards to the robot and 6 cards to myself. So it's the robot's starting hand. So I get 6 cards, but I have to discard 2 of them. So we can see what I have, and I've got now my starting world is a Separatist colony. So what it's going to let me do every explore phase is look at 2 extra cards. Don't get to keep 2 extra, just look at them. But on my settle phase, I automatically have 1 military might. And that'll help me conquer military worlds. Military worlds are these worlds in red. So in order to get some of those out early, I wouldn't mind getting that. So Space Marines is another one that's going to give me some more military power. So I think I'm going to go military route this game. It looks like it's probably the way to go. So I will keep you. I will keep you. I will keep you. And I will get rid of probably these 2. So these go into a face down discard pile. That just accumulates. I don't get to go back into it. So that'll be my starting hand of 4 cards. Robot's got his starting hand, which is essentially unlimited. He gets as many cards as he wants in there, and this is his tableau, and that's where he'll do his scoring. The first person to have 12 either colonies or developments in their tableau, so laid out. That's what will stop. So at the end of that round, the game ends, and then we'll tally up our victory points. So, so either one. So if the robot gets it that round, we stop that round. At the end of the round, if I get it, I stop. It doesn't matter who gets it first; just whoever gets it indicates that the round is going to end. So the way the turn's going to go is basically, or I think if we haven't gotten to that point, but all the victory points are gone, then it ends too. Basically, the turn order is I will pick 2 different phases. So you've got Explore, which will allow me to draw more cards. You've got Develop, which will allow me to get a development out. You've got Settle. You've got Produce. A Settle will allow me to get planets out. Produce will allow my planets that are already out that can produce to produce. And by choosing these as basically like my core actions for that phase, they each give me bonuses. So I'll get to build a development for 1 less development cost. And to pay for any of these things, you typically pay cards in your hand. Unless it's a military planet, then you pay your military might. But I'm allowed to put out 1 planet or 1 development per round. So I have to decide what I want to do for each round. But that's basically it. The game is now set up. I've got my starting cards, and I have to decide now. So I'll choose my actions, then I roll the dice to see what the robot's going to do. He's going to choose his actions, and then we'll execute our actions. I'll go first, and the robot will go, and then we'll just go down the phase order. So it always goes in order. So you'll see as we get going. I'm not going to explain it anymore, but I'll basically talk through what I'm doing as I'm doing it, just so you have an idea of what I'm doing and why. So not that I'm anything great at this game. Believe me, the robot's probably going to gonna smoke me anyway, especially because he's got this crazy AI system going on here, and I've never played against the Damaged Alien Factory. But his card really, it's a military card. Really, it's irrelevant. What's going to matter is how the AI behaves based on the dice rolls. That's going to determine how the robot plays this game. So that's pretty much it. So let's get to the first phase. All right, so we'll start slow, and we'll speed up as we get going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my first two moves, and the first move, first phase I'm going to do is the Explore, and I'm going to take the +1/+1. So normally you get to draw 2 cards and keep 1, but with the +1/+1 I get to draw 3 cards, keep 2, and with the Separatist Colony I get to draw an extra 2 but not keep any more. So I'm going to actually draw 5 cards but only keep 2. So it lets me look at a few more cards before I decide what to keep. And for my next move, I'm either going to develop, or I can get out a colony and settle. So if I choose settle, I get to draw a card when I settle a planet. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to develop and get this Space Mercenaries out. That'll give me a +1 bonus to my my combat strength or my military. And I could also discard 2 cards to get an extra 1 if I want to get bump it up a little bit more. So I'm going to choose to develop, and developing will give me -1 cost. So normally this would cost me 1 card from my hand. I'd have to discard to pay for it, but since it's -1, I won't have to pay for it all. It'll be a free development. So that's my choice, and now let's see what the robot decides to do. So the robot, he rolled a star and a $sign. So $sign would be trade. So the way you treat stars is basically you go from right to left, and he's going to mimic the first of my actions during the phase that he comes across. So he's going to do the develop as well, and he's also going to do the trade. So that's going to have an interesting effect when we get to that. So robot's chosen, I've chosen, now we go into it. So you go from left to right, and I start with Explore. So I'm going to, off the bat, draw my 5 cards, and I'm going to keep 2 of these. So again, I'm looking for military planets if I can get them. Let's see. I think I will keep the Rebel Sympathizers, and maybe I will keep, these aren't the greatest cards. So basically the cost is in the planet symbol or the development symbol, and the victory points for the for when you settle it or develop it is in this little hexagon. So they're only all worth 1 point, nothing great. So what I will do is I will take the Public Works, and we'll get rid of these 3. So that's my Explore phase. The robot has a reaction now. The way the AI works is basically if the robot chose here, he would do this. If he chose both of these, he would do this. If he chose neither, and he's just going to react to my phase, he just does the bottom one. So the robot draws a card. So just add a card to his hand. So that's the first Explore phase. So now we move on to the Develop phase. So I get -1 cost to develop. Like I said, I'm going to get my Space Mercenaries out. So now I have a combat strength of 2, so I can settle a world that costs 2 points. And that's all I can do. So my turn is done. The robot also chose develop, so he's going to do what's here. So if the robot has $2, he's going to get one of those 6-point developments, and then he would move his money back to the left. Since he does not have $2, he's going to move on to the next one. The next one is draw a card, and then flip cards until you find a develop card. So first flip is a card. So he got this Mining Conglomerate. So that goes into his tableau. If it were a 6 cost, it would have cost him his $1, but since it's not, that's all he gets, and he's done. We move on to the trade phase. In the trade phase, so it's basically the consume phase. I've got nothing to consume, so I can't do anything. Otherwise, I would have had to consume my item, any of my resources that I would have had on any of my planets. But since I don't have any, there's nothing I can do. But the robot here, first move is move his cash 2 to the right, which puts him at 3, which is not good. He gets victory points times the size, times 1 of the size of his economy. His economy is 0, so he gets nothing. And if the robot symbol is the robot, he would flip it to the develop. But since it's already on develop, I'm going to leave it. If he chose to, produce. It's already on produce. So if he actually chose produce, I would flip it over to the trade icon. But since he's already on that, I'm going to leave it. And that ends his turn. So basically, he ended up making some money for trade. That's it. That's simple. End of turn. Or end of round. So we will jump into the next round, and it basically follows the same pattern. So I'm just gonna start moving along here. So I definitely want to get some of these planets out, right? So I'm gonna keep building up my hand too. I have a hand limit of 10, so I will definitely do the explore again. I'm probably always going to do that +1/+1. I'm also going to settle, and settle, like I said, will give me a card draw when I settle a world. And the robot rolls the same exact thing. So he's going to go from right to left. He's going to follow me on the settle move, and he's now going to get another trade. So his economy's less economy, but his cash is just going to go through the roof. So let's kick it off. So remember, I get 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, oh wow, so big one. So Rebel World, this is a 7.1, so I definitely want to hold on to that. And Expedition Force is another +1 to my military strength, which I like, so I'm going to hold on to that. So I hold these 2 cards. And the robot, again, he gets a card for his reaction. Now we go on to the settle phase. So what can I settle for? So I have 2 might, or 2 combat, so I can put out either of these worlds. I'm going to go with the 2 victory point world here. And this is called a Windfall World, and the Windfall Worlds are identified by this kind of glow around it, right? So this is an alien world, and it generates 1 product or resource as soon as it's settled. So automatically I put 1 card face down underneath it, so I know that there's a resource there. I know these are really hard to see. It's even hard for me to see. I can't imagine how it looks on camera. So, but I'll have to keep in mind that it is there. So this world, although it starts with a resource, it's never going to develop any. Because it's not unable to produce it, but it does have a resource, so I can trade that resource. So because I chose to settle, I get a card draw. So I get the last of the uplift Ganache. So that's worth 0 victory points. So not a great card. So that's my settle. Robot is going to follow me, and he is going to draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3, and now he's going to flip until he finds a normal world. And by normal I mean non-military. And he will keep flipping until he finds one. So he did. He found the alien toy shop. He's going to discard, and that ends the robot settle phase. So now we go into trade. So I will, well, technically it's the consume phase. So I'm going to consume my 1 resource of alien technology, and with 1 resource I can get, so I could discard a good, well it's a good, I don't like you calling it resources, to get a victory point. So I will discard my 1 good, and I will take 1 victory point. Yay me. The robot again moves his cash up 2, so now he's at a maxed 4. He's still on the produce, so that's not going to flip. So he is done. He's just pumping up cash because he wants to buy those 6-star developments, or 6-point developments. So what am I going to do now? So that's the end of that round. I really want to get this 7 planet out there, so now I can't discard cards to get that. I need military might to get it, so that's probably going to be a while before I get that out. So I'll probably develop. I'll do one more explore and develop. Get that development out to beef up my military strength. Mr. Robot is, oh, we rolled some different things this time. So we rolled the robot, and the robot equals produce. The circle equals settle, which is good because I can actually do a settle this turn. So the thing is, you never know what the robot's going to do, so you have to kind of go with what you need to do and hope that they choose what you want to do. But you just don't get the bonuses if you follow along and do what they're doing. So like if I wanted to consume my resources, if I had chosen the consume phase for myself, I would get, you know, like a victory point bonuses. I get 2 times the victory points, so I would have gotten 2 of these instead of just 1. So, all right, so I'll draw my 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll see what we get here. Oh wow, all developments, but man, dropships gives me +3 combat, so absolutely want that. This one's a -1 combat, don't want you. What is this? So terraforming robots, that's not a bad one. That'll give me a card draw, an additional card draw if I settle. So I'll keep these 2. Robot will again draw a card. That's his reaction. We will go to develop. I will get another development out there, and like I said before, now hold on. So I get -1 cost. So this actually is only going to cost me 3 to get out, and I can discard 3 cards to get that out. I definitely want to get this out because this +3 is huge. So I'll put out my drop ships, and I'm going to discard 1, and so I only need to discard 3 cards. 1, 2, and I'll get rid of the public works. So I'll get rid of these 3. So I paid 3, got -1 for choosing develop, and now I have drop ships. So they'll help me attack some of these military worlds. The robot is going to react, and if he's got, so I'm sorry, his react is down here. So if he's got $3, and he does, he's going to get his first 6-point development. So he gets it, and now I move his money 1, 2, 3 spaces to the left. So that's it. Robot's done. He got his big move. And now that ends the develop phase. But he earned 6, so he's got 7 victory points already, which is compared to my 2, 4, 5, 6. So he's beaten me by 1 victory point. We have settle. So he chose settle, so he's going to get 3 cards and then draw a planet. 3 cards, and he pulls this deserted alien outpost for 3 victory points. So he is just killing me right now. Also got to keep track of how many cards we have in our tableau. And this little chit counts as part of his tableau. So he's got 5 in his tableau, I have 4. Remember, we're going to 12. So he did his settle. Now I can do my settle react. So I can put another planet out. I've got 3, 4, 5 military strength. I could discard 2 to get 1 more, would give me 6, but that's not enough. So what I will do, however, is I will put out the Rebel Sympathizers. And the Rebel Sympathizers is another Windfall World, so it comes with a resource. It comes with a blue one, which is a novelty good. and this one actually produces novelty goods. So they also give you a little bit of explanation of them. So draw, if you do the produce phase, you could draw a card if you produced a good on this world, this phase. So this one will produce those novelties. So that's I don't get a card draw because I didn't pick this, I just followed him. So he's done. We go on to the produce phase. So since this world already has, and it's a windfall, it came with a resource, like a good, I can't produce another good on it, so there's nothing I can do. But the robot can move his economy up 1, and now he flips his token to the trade side, which is not good. Okay, so that ends that round. Let's move on to the next. So what do I need? Now all of a sudden I need more cards, so I'm going to have to explore again. So you do a lot of exploring in this game, which is good. I like to explore. And if possible, I'd like to get this expedition force out to give me a +1. So let me develop again. Hopefully he won't have $2 or $3 by the time I develop. He shouldn't. He shouldn't. So let's see. Might be safe this round. So the robot gets to settle, and he rolls the ×2. So he is going to consume. Very interesting. So let's see how this plays out. So first things first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we will develop. Alright, so we got another world. So this is a nice Imperium Armaments World. +1 to my military strength. We'll keep that. And we will. So improve logistics lets me settle 2 planets at one time. That might be good later. So I'll keep those 2. And he gets another card draw for his reaction. For his response, we go into develop. So let me develop here. Remember, I wanted to get out the expedition force. So this is going to cost me 1, but it's -1 since I chose the development for this phase. So that gives me another military power. That's done for me. Now the robot, his reaction is if he has $3, he buys another one of these developments. He doesn't have $3, but he's going to start flipping cards to see if he gets a development. No, 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 no. Yes. So it is a 6 cost development. Since he has the dollar, he was only able to do it. If he didn't have any money, he couldn't do it because this, no matter what it was going to cost him $1 anyway. But since he had $1, he ended up pulling the best one he could possibly pull. So he's just running away right now. So I got to do something here. I got to get some points. So let's go to settle. So I have 3, 4, 5, 6. If I discard 2 cards, I'll have 7. Or I could settle this world to give me +1, and then next turn I could definitely get this rebel world out without having to trash 2 cards, which might not be a bad thing. So, but this is going to cost me. It's going to cost me 4 cards, 4 discards just to get this planet out, and I don't want to throw away 4 cards, so I'm not going to do that. I think I'm going to put the 7 out. I'm going to do it. So I've got 3, 4, 5, 6. If I trash 2 cards, I get 1 more. So I'll put this out, and I will trash 2 cards. What do I want to get rid of? I'll get rid of the smugglers and the terraforming robots. Get rid of these 2. So trash 2. Settled that world. I think it was worth it. Got me some big points on the board. So we are in the consume phase. I do have 1 resource or 1 good to consume, so any good can be turned in for a victory point, so I need the victory points. I'll take another one. Robot gets economy ×2 in victory points. He has an economy size of 1, so he gets 2 victory points for that. His economy moves up to 2, and I believe that's all he does, because this lower section is a continuation of this bottom section, which basically is if he had chosen both of these, and that's all he's going to do. And I think that's enough. All right, so what do we want? We need cards. That's for certain. So I really need cards, so I'm going to have to explore. And I'm going to, do I want to develop? Yeah. I'd like to, but I'd like to develop. It's probably a smart move if I can afford it. So the one I have is a 3. It would cost me 2. I could potentially do that. So let me do it. I'll try. Or maybe I should explore twice. No, I'll develop. Okay, let's see what the robot's gonna do. Alright, so he chose develop, and he's got the robot, so the robot equals consume or trade. Alright, so I'll pick my 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have some interesting world here. So Expedition Forces, I think I have that out already. I do, so I can't put the same exact card out again. Alpha Centauri gives me +1 combat towards this brown world, which is a rare world. I don't really need that. Now I'll keep. You know what? I'll keep these 2 because I'm probably just going to trash them anyway. And the robot's going to get a card. That ends that. Develop. So -1 cost to develop, if you remember. I can't put this out. I can put you out. It's going to cost me 2. So I will trash these 2. So I got 1 card left. But that lets me settle 2 worlds on the settle phase, which might be helpful if I can afford to. That ends my turn. Robot's turn. So he, if he has $2, he will do this. He doesn't have $2. Otherwise, he will draw a card and then flip to find a development. And he gets it on the first turn. So he is done. Go on to consume. I've got nothing to consume or trade, so my turn's done. But he gets $2, which is terrible. He gets 1 time the economy level, so he gets 2 victory points. And if the robot, and turn the robot to the produce. Done. Alright, we are going to explore again. And I would like to settle, if at all possible. Maybe I'll get a good draw here. Alright, so we got a develop, and we got a consume. So let me draw my 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are going to settle, remember? So I definitely don't want a refugee world. Do I want to... I'll take these 2 planets. I don't... Yeah, that's -1 combat if I put that out. We don't want that. What is that called? Refugee world? Come on. Kidding me? Alright, we're good. Discard these 3. I'll keep these 2. Robot gets a card for his response. And I can actually develop this round, but I have no development cards, so there's nothing I can do here. Robot, if he has $2, and he does, he buys the second 6-point shit, and he goes to 0. What a jerk. He's definitely self-aware. Settle! Can I settle? I can settle this guy, and I probably will. So this is the gambling world. So name 1 to 7 and flip a card. Keep it if its cost or defense matches the number. I like that. Huh. Gambling world. That's pretty cool. Never did this one. So let's settle this world. Cost me 1, so I got to discard a card. I'll trash this galactic resort. Even though it's a good card, I know I won't be able to get it out there. So we have a Gambling World. So that is on the consume phase. I can do that. So we're gonna hit it this turn. Maybe I don't know if I can use it this round. Maybe I'll have to check. So I settle the world. I get a card. I get the Gem World. How nice. Okay. He gets to draw 3 cards and then flip for a world. Nope, that's a Military World. Wow, these are all the cards I needed, man. Come on. Volcanic World. That's where all my good cards went. Alright, so he's done. Wait a minute. That should have been a response. Cheapo. So he should have only gotten 2 cards and then flipped. So I did his as if he chose it, but basically I just gave him an extra draw and then he flipped. Actually, he shouldn't have done anything. You know what? He should. Basically, this says if he has money, he does this, but he doesn't. So I essentially gave him a free move. You know what? I'll let him have it. He's gonna beat me by one. He'd have to beat me by more than 1 victory point. If he beats me by more than by a victory point, then there's gonna be problems. But if he beats me by well over a victory point, which it looks like he's going to, so let's move on. I won't back that up. That's just silly. So we're going to the trade phase. So let's find out what we have to do here. All right, I'm going to use my Gambling World, I think. So like I said, it says pick a number from 1 to 7. So I'm not sure how to use this, but we'll see. So name 1 to 7 and flip a card. Keep it if its cost or defense matches. So I'm going to go with 5, right? So let's flip the card, see what it is. It's a 5. It's a planet, so its cost or defense, so its cost would be 5. So basically I picked wrong. I would have had to pick 4, so I don't get to keep it. That was my gamble. Since I didn't have any goods, I couldn't do anything anyway. So he gets $2, 1 times his economy and victory points, so he gets 2 more victory points. The robot turns to the produce. It's already there, so he doesn't have to turn it. He's done. So I already know what I'm doing. I'm going to explore, and I'm going to settle. The robot is going to develop and consume again. And this guy does a lot of consuming or trading. Makes a lot of money. So let me draw my 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what we have. Maybe we can get back in this game. Alright, formal penal colony. We'll take that. Don't know what else to pick. Maybe I'll take a deserted alien world, so I'll take those 2. Not the best card draws, let me tell you. Robot gets 1. Develop. Do I have anything to develop here? No. Robot, since he chose it, if he has $2 and he does, he gets a 6 chip, but there's none left. So what he's going to do is he's going to draw a card and he's going to start flipping. And he gets 1. He's done. Settle. Can I settle? I get a card draw for settling, so I know I can settle the formal penal colony. So I will drop these down here, put them there. It gives me another military combat, and I get to draw a card. So that's that. The robot's response: if he's got money, then he gets 2 cards, and he draws. You know what? Tell you what. Since I did it for him the other turn, I'm going to not do it for him this turn. That's how we'll make right. Agree or not? We can agree to disagree on that. That's fine. Trade. I've got nothing to trade, so I can't do anything. For him, he gets 2 more bucks. He gets another 2 victory points. So I'll take 3 and give him a 5. And the robot's already there, so that's that round. Next round, so we're moving along. Let me do a quick count first. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're about a round off. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we got 10 each. He's got a hell of a lot more points than I do. So I need to put some big planets out here, or I'm probably going to lose this game. So I will explore, and I will settle. And he will explore. I think it's the first time he explored. And robot. So robot is produce. So he's getting ready to throw down too. Alright, that's fine. So let me start my explore with my 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I actually get 6 because the Expeditionary Force gives me 1 extra. I didn't realize that. And I keep 2. Let's see what we have here. Absolutely nothing. I've got, see, this does, I need military planets and I've got nothing. Ugh. So, I'm just going to take 2 cards because I need to trash them anyway. There's nothing much more I can do there. Robot chose it, so he gets to draw a card and make a buck, but since he is at full, nothing else he can do there. Let's settle. Can we settle a planet? Well, I thought I could, but you know what? I'm going to start trashing cards. This is worth 2 victory points, so I think I'm going to put him out. It's going to cost me 4 cards, but I don't care. 1, 2, 3, 4. This guy's going out. Oh, this is the one I wanted. Okay. So, Imperium Armaments World, that one's out. I settled the world. I get to draw a card for that. See? Alien, robot, scout ship. I can play that if I can last another round. So I'm done. He gets to respond if he's got money. And he does. He's going to spend money, draw 2, and then get a planet. A regular planet. He pulls a nice big fat one. Alright, colonize is over, or settles over. We go to the produce. Do I have any planets that can produce? I do. Rebel Sympathizers. So if I produce on this world, I gain. Draw 1 card if you produced a good on this world. I did. I'm going to draw a card. Not bad. I think that's the only world I can produce. Oh no, I can also produce on the Imperium Armaments World. So I've got 2 goods. Alright. I should probably sell them next round. His economy goes up, and we flip this back to trade. He's done. Alright, let's count up again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is probably the last round, so I have to go hard to the hoop. So I am going to explore and settle. Hopefully I can get some good draws. The robot is going to settle and trade. Of course he's going to trade because he wants to get as many victory points as he possibly can. Alright, so let's go up there. Draw my 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see if we get some big points here. Of course we don't. Why would I get good points? Alright, so what can I do? I'm gonna settle. I have a 4-pointer, so I can settle, but I can settle 2 worlds. So I think I'm gonna take you because you're worth 2 points, and I'll take you as well and get rid of the rest. Remember, I can settle 2 worlds because of the improved logistics. Alright. And the robot's going to take a card for his response. Now we go to settle. So, like I said, I've got military power to spare. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 military power. So this is only going to cost me 4. So we'll put this out. Now I can't use this. It's a windfall, so I get a good. I can't use this this military power towards my second placement based on the card. But I can. Now I settled that, so I do get to draw a card, but I don't get to draw a card for the second world that I settle. And I will just settle New Sparta. Maybe. Or do I want to settle Merchant World, pay the 4, get a 2-pointer. I think I'll do that. Merchant World. Okay. That is it for me on that turn. The Roboto is going to get 3 cards and then draw a planet. Like I said, this is going to be the last turn. So he draws a planet, another 3-pointer, so I know he's full on planets. He's done with that phase. Now we go to consume. So the consume, I'm going to get rid of some of these goods. So I'm going to trade them in for victory points, and now they'll allow me to trade in, discard 2 goods to get 3 VP chips. I don't get the bonus on it, so 1, 2, I have 3 goods, so I'll get rid of I'll get rid of 2 goods to get 3 victory. Turn it in, get a 5, and then I can turn in 1 for 1. And that's it for my consume. The robot, however, gets $2. He gets 1 times victory points for his economy, which is 3. And he flips his chit back over, so he's done. That ends the game. Okay, so let's get the robot's core AI out of the way. His hand is now done. We've got his victory points and his stack. So let's see how well the computer did, or the robot. So I know he did pretty well. So let's just tally it up, right? It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, plus 6 is 14. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 30, 42, 43, 44, 45. So the robot scores 45 points. There's no way in hell I am beating that. So let's see where I stand. There's no way I'm even coming close to that, I can tell you right now. 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 30. 42 to 30 he killed me. So he beat me by 12 points. That's these guys. See, I'm telling you. These things are bad. They're very, very bad. Well, that didn't turn out as good as I had hoped, but it was fun nonetheless. You can see the game. I mean, I took my time playing through it. It can be very quick. I tell you, I never do well when I do the military because it's just that you don't pull enough of the big worlds. I mean, where are they all? Right? I mean, there's definitely some big ones in here. Like that. A 4-pointer? Where were you? You know, like, come on. Give me nothing. I bet you the robot was hogging them all in his discard. See? Rebel base. Why didn't I have the rebel base? Well, what? Oh, I thought I saw something bigger. Okay. In any case, that is the Gathering Storm expansion for Race for the Galaxy. Solitaire with the robot. Even though he's evil, it's still fun. Hope you enjoyed the playthrough video. Please, if you haven't yet, subscribe. I'll keep the videos coming. And hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.